Today is Sunday, July 12th, 2026. I'm sitting down to record this with Nosy because we've got a lot to process this week. I can't believe what has happened the past 7 days, guys. It's been a ginormous week. And normally, it being Sunday, I'd be meal prepping my face off. But this week, I'm going to try a new meal delivery service out of Florida. So, right now, as a crazy busy entrepreneur, I am literally and figuratively taking things off my plate so that I can prioritize. Because as you'll see in this episode, there is a lot going on right now. So let's get into it. All right, real talk, guys. If this week was a test of character, I came this close to folding. In the last 7 days, I jumped back in the saddle and started a brand new 60-day fitness challenge to get washboard abs. We're not there yet, though. For my brand new business, I'm also helping teachers with their retirement planning. Oh, Nosy's like, I'm out of here. She's like, washboard abs aren't for me. But, with this new business where I'm helping teachers with their retirement and their pension, I actually launched my first ever live webinar on TikTok and YouTube just this past Thursday. I got banned from iMessage and had my phone where it couldn't get any text from Apple users for 9 days. I stubbed my toe so hard that I thought I broke it. Conveniently 2 days before the challenge started. And something else happened that may mean a childhood dream of mine is coming true. I can't fully disclose it yet, but I will give you a teaser at the end. So here's the thing I realized this week. Every single one of those things that I mentioned, the workouts, the business, the iMessage debacle, the surprise that I can't get into detail yet, they have all stretched me in the same direction. So what I'm going to call that is the expander effect. And that one's a writer downer for sure. The expander effect is what happens when you pack so much growth into a single window, whether that's physical, professional, emotional, that your capacity actually starts to expand in order to hold it. It's obviously uncomfortable and it feels like you're about to break, but you don't break. You expand. Anywho, if you are new to my channel, it's important that you know that there are 3 important pillars that I combine here, and I hope you do too, which are number 1, heart, number 2, health, and number 3, hustle. So let's start with heart. I spent years feeling like I was behind. Let me know if you can relate, like scrambling, like I was constantly trying to catch up to some version of myself that I hadn't quite become yet. And this week, for the first time, I realized I'm not scrambling anymore. I'm stewarding. And the challenge isn't finding opportunities. The challenge is actually managing them well, juggling, and knowing when to say no, which I'm still working on. Let me know if you can relate in the comments. So I have been aware of this for a long time. And I think it's because of having lived abroad and just growing up. My mom is from Asia, my dad is American, and just feel like it naturally expands the way that you see the world. But this week in particular, the volume got loud enough that it slapped me in the face a few times and almost broke my toe. So hopefully, as a soon-to-be mom, I'm reflecting a lot on what motherhood could look like and doing my best to create habits now that I can foresee aligning myself for that season. Moving on to the second pillar, let's talk about health. Fit 6 is the physical side. Week 1 of the 60-day fitness challenge is over. I did 5 workouts Monday through Friday. My macros have been on point, hydration solid, and the hunger this time around hasn't been that bad, which is pretty different from the last challenge I did earlier this year. And I think the reason for that is my protein is much higher this time around. But here's the part that I'm actually most excited about, which is I finally got my 120-day cellular health results back, and I am floored. So when I started this journey earlier this year, my omega-6 to omega-3 ratio was in the danger zone. I had a score of a 12-to-1, and just for context, that's a huge red flag of inflammation in the body. You really don't want to have a score that's higher than a 3-to-1 for optimal health. And what's cool is after 120 days, obviously I've been dialed into my supplementation. I'm now at a 3.9-to-1, and Felipe, who started at 24-to-1, he is now a 4.9-to-1. And so we've got some work to do, obviously, right? Perfection is having that ratio be a 1-to-1. So I'm going to be upping my dose just a smidge. So here's the principle, guys. You can train all you want, but if your cells are inflamed, if your gut isn't absorbing nutrients, if your omega ratio is out of whack, you are leaving your results on the table. Your results are built in the kitchen and in your cells, not just in the gym. Okay, so if you haven't taken a look at your omega score or even your gut health and you want to learn more about that, let me know and I can share what I personally use. Moving on to the third pillar, hustle. I'm not super proud of this, but it's a season I'm in and I get to see it through, which is I'm building 2 businesses. And so that is major hustle. This new business, which isn't really new because I've been in financial services for a handful of years now, but I did take a hiatus these last few years. But this is the first time that I'm really clear on my target audience. And so I launched a new campaign helping teachers with their pensions. And so if you want to look into my different social media channels, you can find me as Teacher Retirement Peace. Even though I've taken this hiatus, it feels good to be back. This past Thursday, like I mentioned, I hosted my first ever live webinar broadcast on TikTok and YouTube. And on TikTok, I had about 54 looky-loos on. Nothing really has come out of that. But what I did prove to myself is it's the start of a new habit. And I created evidence that I'm courageous and committed to win. Because honestly, guys, I did not feel ready to do it. Like the tech side was really overwhelming. What I proved to myself is I do whatever it takes. Anyways, for this new project, I created new social profiles because I want to be super niche and targeted. So I've got my new TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And what is crazy is it's been my TikTok that has been popping off to my surprise. I thought Instagram was going to be the one, but apparently it's TikTok. They really push new creators with their content. So I definitely recommend being on TikTok. The first long form video that I cross posted from my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, not this one, onto TikTok. In the last 3 weeks, guys, check out these stats: 12,500 views, 443 likes, 21 comments, 340 saves. And that's just in 3 weeks. I am shook. I thought, like I said, that Instagram was going to perform better, but Instagram's kind of been a slow start, but it's starting to pick up a bit more speed. In just the last 30 days, I've crossed over 2,000 profile views, which is like one TikTok video that I've received on this new channel. So right now, guys, as you can see, I'm playing Tetris with my schedule. Let me know in the comments if you can resonate with that. About 80% of my focus is on this new business, getting it off the ground and before the school year starts, because when the school year starts, I'm literally going to be in the schools with the teachers every so often. And so that's going to take a lot of my time. Now, 20% of my time right now is positioned on building my personal brand, which is, fitness, wellness, and lifestyle stuff. Now, none of this would have been possible if it weren't for the calmness that I've felt because I hired help with the tech side. So like I said, I went live on Thursday. I could not have done that if I did not delegate the tech side because I was trying to learn this funnel and CRM system, which I'm sure I'm capable of doing, but it was going to take me hours, which I could have spent that time doing other things. And so that's when I realized you got to hire people, right? And so I'm excited because now pretty much I've got my new CRM, my funnels all set. That's the big deal as an entrepreneur. It is important, especially if you're already doing more than one business. Like in my case, you have to offload things from your plate. On top of that, I'm doing a fitness challenge. And on top of that, I'm trying to have a life and spend time with my husband. Just the idea of trying to do all of that by myself literally gives me heartburn. So again, I'm getting better at delegating and just offloading things. Delegation, it's not optional, it's imperative. As far as wrapping up the business side of things, by the way, a few months ago, I enrolled in a business coaching program for legacy makers. And so my revenue goal is $20,000 a month for my businesses and content creation. Is that a big number? Heck yes. But 100% I've got faith. Life's too short not to have big goals. Let's get after it. And so if you've got big, audacious, hairy goals in your business, I want to know what your revenue goals are too. Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. All right. Now I've saved almost the best for last, which is the tease. Okay. So I can't get too much into detail right now, but there's one more thing that I'm not going to unpack yet, but I want you to have an idea because by the time that you're watching this, I'll probably already be on my way flying across the country for something that has been a dream of mine since I was a little girl. And it's amazing to come full circle. It really deserves its own story. And so as soon as I get more information, I'll come up with a different episode just to talk about that. But if you like adventure, then make sure that you do not miss this update coming soon. Okay, wait a second. I almost forgot. Amidst all that chaos, all that growth, I almost broke my toe because Apple banned me from iMessage. But seriously, I'm kind of joking, but kind of serious. I have been a loyal Apple customer for years, and I've even taken it upon myself to convert Android people. I'm starting to question that loyalty because of what happened. So let me tell you, if you are an entrepreneur and you are an Apple user, you do not want to skip this part. This is a must listen. Did you know that Apple does not let you conduct commercial activities on your iMessage? If you're messaging a client, you don't really have a choice and they're an Apple user. It's just automatically going to be an iMessage. You are forbidden to use iMessage for your business. And that could even include existing clients. And so the reality check that I'm willing to bet is that every entrepreneur who has an Apple phone does not know this and breaks this rule every single day. Why is this important to note? Because for 8 straight days, I could not receive any messages from Apple users on my iPhone. And as a business owner, that's a problem. So I called Apple support every single day, got tossed around from a new rep each time, always having to start over with my story. The trick is you have to request a manual review in order to have a human look over things. And so that all happened on July 4th, where I finally pushed it for the manual review, finally got a senior rep on the phone who quoted me that they were going to fix things or do the best that they can, get back to me in 2 business days, only for me to never hear from that guy ever again. Sadly, that means I'm still banned from iMessage to this day. So fair warning to any business owners who are watching, if you've got an Apple phone, be super careful about using iMessage for client follow-ups. And Apple doesn't warn you, they literally just cut you off. So anyways, back to my almost broken toe. During the height of this frustration, as you can imagine, I'm walking around, pacing the house, talking to the Apple rep. I stubbed my freaking toe on the couch so hard that I thought I broke it 2 or 3 days before the fitness challenge was supposed to start. I was staring at it like, seriously, right now, this is what we're doing. Thankfully, it's healing fast. So I think it just was pretty much bruised, thankfully not broken. But the moral of the story is this: you get to decide whether you're going to be a victim or not. And in this situation, I chose not to, eventually. I think the answer isn't waiting for a calmer season. It's making the decision to become someone who can persist without losing sight of what matters. This season for me is about transition, reinvention, and building, learning, serving, and documenting the pursuit of a life worth living. I aim to be an inspiration for you to get off your behind and take that leap of faith and just take action. You already know life is short, so why not stuff more of life into each moment that you possibly can? So let me know if you can relate. Drop a comment below. What's one thing that stretched you this week? I will see you next week.